Hi everyone, it's Danielle with Northlawn Flower Farms. I'm really excited to make this video today for you because it's a question I see over and over again in the comments section. It's about, can we please see your flower stand? Can you tell us more about how you set it up? What kind of a business model do you have? And those kind of questions. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to harvest for the stand together this evening. We're going to let those flowers condition overnight, and then in the morning we're going to set the stand up together. Alright, so I've got everything harvested for the stand tomorrow. So I'm just going to let all these flowers and the foliage sit in their original buckets overnight in order to condition and soak up as much water as possible before we arrange with them tomorrow. I just set them here in this industrial sink that we have in our addition. This is where, I don't know, I might have shown you this in videos before, but this is where I have my lighting system set up. During the late winter, early spring, you can see one light is still in here. But now I've kind of switched over to drying flowers in here. And down here is where I keep my boxes for the stand and jars and things like that. So I'll see you all early tomorrow morning. Alright guys, well it's early the next morning and I'm ready to make some arrangements with you. These guys have been conditioning all night long in their original water, so they've drank a lot of water, they're ready to go outside and be exposed to some heat. So I usually make two different types of bouquets depending on what kind of floral ingredients I have that day. If I have large statement flowers that are more expensive to grow, like the lilies, I'm going to make a front-facing bouquet, meaning that all of the flowers face the front of the bouquet, and it's going to be backed up with a fan of foliage. That's what we're going to be making today. That's because these flowers are more valuable, and it's no sense in putting lilies surrounding the entire thing. First of all, that would cost me more than $10, and it's not going to draw the customer in anymore when, you know, to see lilies from behind. They're not going to be able to see that. So for a $10 bouquet with something like lilies, I'm going to put flowers only in the front of the bouquet. Now say I'm working a little bit earlier in the season, and I'm using things like snapdragons as my statement flower because I'm just waiting for other things to come in. So maybe I have something like snapdragon, feverfew, love in a mist, larkspur, maybe even some zinnias. For something like that, where the flowers are less expensive to grow and produce, I'm going to make a 360 bouquet. And I did a video on how to make a hand-tied bouquet, and if you watch that video, the only difference between that bouquet and the ones that I do for the stand are that they're just a smaller version, so that I'm still making money off of them. But today we're going to make the fan arrangement. One thing I think I did not show last night, it actually started to rain really bad and a lot of other things just happened here in our home, was any flower that needs special conditioning, I'm going to do that at night. So like the Dara that you see here is wilt prone, and so it needs to go into quick dip after harvest. So I harvested the Dara, I put it in the quick dip, I put it back into the water, and then conditioned it, and that's why you see it's in a separate jar. And then in the morning, I want to assess if anything else has opened up that I need to deal with, because with things like lilies, we want to remove the pollen for our customers. It's not only going to, the pollen could, you know, ruin their tablecloth or anything they put it on. It's also going to help the flower live longer if we take it out. So this one's opened in the vase overnight. Now, what I was doing last night is I was just cutting these out as I was harvesting, anything that was open, but since this one wasn't open, I have to do it now. So just pull all the pollen off, and I'll throw that in the garbage. Just do that for your customers so that they don't have to worry about pollen. Also, it kind of gets onto these beautiful white Casa Blanca lilies, and then it kind of muddies up their appearance, which we don't want. So guys, I think let's set up and let's make some bouquets together. The first thing I want to do is set up the fan structure of this bouquet just by using some Forsythia. I'm going for basically a semi-circle shape here, and a nice backdrop onto which all these other flowers can lay on. And normally I would be holding this the whole time, but for the sake of videoing it and keeping it in focus, I'm going to keep it laying here on the table for you. But when you're making it, it'll be a lot easier if you just pick it up and hold it. Got some damage out there because we had 2 hailstorms come through. Quite unfortunate. So any kind of a damaged leaf I'm seeing, I'm pulling those leaves off, because I wouldn't want a customer to get a bunch of damaged leaves. Okay, that's a good amount of greenery for the base. So next I'm going to add in my sparkle, which is going to be the Dara. So I'm going to add that in. And as I say, I would definitely be holding this normally in my hand. So 2 Dara I think will be great. Next step, I'm going to add in some Flamingo Celosia. I'm keeping in mind here that I want to keep the center portion for my lilies. Let's add some Gladiolus into this one. So put 2 Gladiolus in here. I'm actually going to remove the bottom flower because it's a little bit older than what I want. And now I'm going to add these to either side. This one, that one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove the bottom flower of that. Okay. You can kind of see it starting to take shape now. Now we can add in some Autumn Joy Sedum just for bulk. You see it's not pink yet, but I like to use it now. I think it looks nice. I'm going to skip, since I added Gladiolus, I'm going to skip on using any Snapdragons or the Rose Celosia in here. Because once again, I don't want to put in too much to where I'm not making any money. And I'm just going to look for a lily here. I think this one is quite lovely. Let me just take a look at these other ones. Actually, I think this one is nice. Let's use this one. Got a little bit of something in there. And just set that lily right in the middle. Actually, I'm going to have to pick up the bouquet for this, so I'm going to really hope that we stay in focus. So I just tuck that lily in rather through these other stems here. And that looks really beautiful. I love the way that looks. Tuck it in there real nice. So I have one open lily, one that is still to open up in the vase, and then I'm just going to green up the neck, which is where I cover up just these stems down here to just make it look more complete. Just a few stems will do the trick. You know, 2 or 3 is all that you need, shorter stems. Now bring in my jar. Cut these guys to length. I've already put flower food in the water. Set that in the jar. And that looks lovely. It's ready to go out. Well, here they all are for the day. I think they are looking absolutely wonderful and ready to go to their new homes. You know, we've got the lilies, the gladiolus, the Dara, the pink Flamingo Celosia, the Rose Celosia, the snaps. I just really love when the lilies come in. I just think, who doesn't love a beautiful lily, right? So just so you know, I had about 3 lilies left over, and rather than trying to quickly pick some other greenery and filler for these, I'm just going to hold these over until tomorrow's harvest, and they'll be absolutely fine. So now let's get these guys into their boxes. So for the boxes, what I use is these old wine holders that wine comes in when you buy wine by the box. My mom gives me these. I also like to use some decorative boxes and then put those wine bottle inserts in here, or just anything that you might have bought jars in. I just tend to keep those and stick them in the boxes. And then we'll weigh these down with rocks once they're outside. Well guys, here it is all set up. I put out 5 bouquets today. We just do an honesty box. I just keep an eye on it throughout the day. And then we just have an umbrella here for a little bit of added shade for the flowers. Well, thanks so much for joining me today to set up the stand. I hope you're having a great day in your garden, and until next time, happy gardening. Bye.